Hello, welcome to this video on the Harpoon Captain's Edition Vassal Module version 1.1. Please note you need to have Vassal version 3.6.7 or later to play this module. I'm going to run through a very simple scenario designed just to show you how to utilize the features of the module to play a solitaire game of Harpoon Captain's Edition. The first thing I'm going to do is start setting up some NATO units here. We're going to go and put in a right click on the card deck. I'm going to select an RLA Burke, and it will be escorting one merchant vessel. Just click and drag them on top of each other, and we're going to designate this as Task Force 1. The Soviet units in the game will consist of a Tu-95 Bear D and some Tu-22M backfire bombers. Now, these cards do not represent task forces per se, they just are data cards representing the entire class of aircraft. In the counter section is where you'll see all the counters that are in use for both Soviets and the NATO players. And we're going to use a Patrol A marker, which I will temporarily place on the board over here. Put it right at Severomorsk. And using the bases button, I will show the Bear D bomber as a ready aircraft, and we're going to have two backfire bomber flights. Now the NATO task force is number 1, so we'll take the marker for it, Task Force 1, and we'll just put it right down here. His mission will be to get his merchant to Bodo. So Task Force 1, and I'll put a speed marker on top of it as well. And that's all I need for the NATO player. Now under turn move, this is representation of all the movement chits that are in the game. And the game operates on a chit draw basis, so whichever chit is drawn out of, well, quite literally a coffee cup, is the unit that moves next. So what we'll have in this game is Task Force 1, so we'll take that one, put it into the cup. Right click on the movement chits to select Patrol Marker A, which is the Soviet patrol, and move that to the cup. During gameplay, left clicking and dragging a chit from the cup to the drawn chits will randomly draw the next chit for movement purposes. Okay, now that everything is set up, Patrol A goes first. Now Patrol A is going to be the Bear D, so I'm going to move him to the Patrol A box so that we know what Patrol A represents. And Patrol A is going to move like so. Please note, because this is a solitaire game, you can see everything and you know what everything is, so all I'm going to do is just move him down to within range of detection, which for the Patrol Bear is 2 hexes surface search range. At this point, we now make detection of Task Force 1. We would take the task force and move it to the detected combat board, which is a common space for all players to see. It represents the tabletop in which you would normally play the game, and you'd have to reveal your cards once a task force has been detected. And now, since the task force 1 is detected, we can initiate an airstrike. So we'll take my backfire bombers, and I like to move strike aircraft even in the same fashion, doing it one straight leg at a time, because some games may have combat air patrol aircraft or surface ships with surface-to-air missiles nearby that could intercept the raid before it gets to the launch point. The backfire bomber has a 0-2 for air-to-surface missiles. The first value is short range and the second value is long range. Each aircraft has 2 long-range missiles. Now, since there are a total of 8 aircraft, that's going to be 16 missiles that could be launched at Task Force 1. Now open up the markers button and we'll grab 2 number 8s because there's 2 flights of bombers launching their missiles. Double click to break apart the formation. Now you have to be placed in pairs for the screening ship and the ship to be screened. Now that the raid has been launched, they can send the aircraft back to Severomorsk. I'll show you what that looks like. Send to Severomorsk, and it automatically puts them back into the flown aircraft box. At the end of the turn, when we push the next turn button, any aircraft in the flown box are sent automatically to the ready aircraft box. Now, to conduct the combat, Arleigh Burke has SAM rating of 0 for short range and 10 for long range. So using XD6 button, we will put in 10 D6 dice with no modifier die roll. Opening up the reference chart, for looking down the SAM column, we need a 4, 5, and a 6 to hit, with a 6 being a double hit. So we have achieved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can use either right click in menu to decrease by 1, 2, 3, or you can use keyboard shortcut minus key or the plus minus keys on the numpad. 1, 2, 3 more, so that was a total of 6 hits. Now the Soviet player gets to designate where the missile attacks go. Let's say we're going to split them up like so. The Arleigh Burke has a point defense value of 3, so we'll roll 3 dice and consult the point defense combat chart. A 1 is a miss, everything else is a hit, with a 2 being a 6 being a double hit. So we have scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So we'll decrease by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we roll for surface missile hits, which would be bombs and SSM table. So 1 and a 2 miss, everything else is a hit, with a 6 being a double hit. So we'll roll for the Burke first, which is going to be 3 dice. And it looks like he has achieved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on the Burke, which sinks it. Right click on it to return to deck, and that will put the ship card back on the card deck. Merchant number 1 has 2 missiles. which scores 2 hits, hull value of 3. So it's not sunk, but opening up the roster button, and merchant number 1, we will score 2 hits. Could also do the same for the Burke, just to do it there. Then you delete all of those. That is Patrol A's turn completed. Task Force 1 now has the chance to move. The merchant will stay on the detected combat board because I take it for the rest of the turn it remains detected. Now in Task Force 1, we can increase the speed by using the menu or the plus/minus keys on the keyboard. His speed is actually limited to 1 because he has taken 2/3 of the hull hits, so decrease the speed. Now the one with the red means that the radar is on. He doesn't, and it does have surface search radar, but that's all. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So the best he can do is limp towards Bodo. That's pretty much going to end the scenario right there, but I will show you when we click the next turn button, all the drawn chits are automatically put back into the cup, and flown aircraft are moved to the ready aircraft boxes. This concludes the video. Thank you for watching.